Whew, okay, right. Let's stream on Twitch then. That's going to be a thing. Okay, let's not worry about audio issues now. If everyone can hear me okay, we'll put the music on and we'll relax and do some buildy. And I can get you up to speed on a couple of the little changes I've done since yesterday's... Was it yesterday? Okay. Let's relax and just enjoy some building. So, since the last stream, I have done a little bit of work. You may or may not notice. It was basically kind of boring stuff really, and stuff I've done quite a few times before. So I was like, nah, I'll just get it done because it's not particularly entertaining. So, what I've done is I've changed the sleeves. Excuse me. Camera's really high today, so it might be a bit weird because I'm going to do it better in a bit. So, is it here? So I've put this slightly nicer cable braid on. Before it was just like this plastic sleeve, which, I mean, it is perfectly functional. It just looks a bit naff. So I've changed to this. There's absolutely no reason to do that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It costs money, but I got this from an old printer that I dismantled. So there you go. That's one thing I've done, and I covered this bit as well. It doesn't look that tidy really, but it's okay. And then over on the other side, you can see I've done the wiring over here, using the screen. So I've wired in the motors, so just basically cut off all the connectors off the ends and got those sorted. And I've done that end stop as well. And I've mounted the power supply, and I have a mount for the Raspberry Pi, so I might put that in now. I've created a mount actually for the Raspberry Pi. I might test the... why is it not spinning? Here we go. So, in fact, I'll show you a couple of things that I've designed since we last were here. It looks like the view updater counter thing is a bit broken, unfortunately. I think because there is no YouTube stream, it's just got a bit confused as to what it's supposed to be counting, I think. I'm assuming everyone can hear me fine though, right? It's all... sounds good and normal. Excellent, cool. So, let me just find. So I'm just finding the stuff in Fusion 360, which I've designed. Okay, so hopefully this will work. There we go. So if you were here for the Voron streams, you'll have seen I used some Wago blocks that kind of clamped onto they looked a bit like this, and they just clamped onto the DIN rails, and we pushed in some Wago terminal blocks, and that just made some of the mains wiring a little bit easier. It should have a really good connection, and hopefully that should make it a little bit safer too. So I decided I wanted to use these, well, this basic clamping design, but obviously I've got no DIN rails, so I cut the bot. Oh, I moved it as well. There we go. I cut the bottom off and basically extended it and added some nut traps. So, oh no, not these. Just like this. So now I can mount those onto the panel and it'll be easy peasy. I don't know why that side is highlighted blue. There we go. So that's one thing. This is a different thing. Don't worry about and a Raspberry Pi bracket, nothing particularly fancy. It's kind of similar to the one that's used on Voron, but obviously not for DIN rail clamping or anything like that. So again, same depth nut traps that I've used on the clips and the Wago terminals. So by clips I mean like the original cable organizer clips. Searching Twitch for Vector 3 doesn't find this channel. That's bizarre, isn't it? Oh yeah, because it's Vector 3DP, is that it? You'd think Vector 3D would be close enough that it would find it though. Yeah, unfortunately Vector 3D I think was taken, so I had to go with Vector 3DP. So yeah, I've printed this stuff out. So here, so we've got this block. It's going to hold the Wago terminals, and they just press in the same as before, and that'll do that. Absolutely lovely, and they can just slide outside, which is also super good. I really like this bracket design. It's just super simple. Whoever designed this, I did make links to it. I don't think I've got the link for today. Yeah, and then this is obviously one for the Raspberry Pi, and I'm using the M2 self-tapping screws that you would normally use for like those funny little end stops. Unfortunately, for some reason, the Raspberry Pi doesn't use... Oh, hello, that's me. It doesn't use standard mounting for... It doesn't use standard mounting, that's not what I mean. It doesn't use M3 screws, which is such a bizarre choice. I'm not sure exactly what size these holes are, let's just double check. But M3 screw doesn't fit. 2.5 mils. It's just such an odd size for a mounting hole. Anyway, so my one here is symmetrical. I can actually mount it on, because these are nuts, they're nut traps. So, ooh. One screw dropped already. One of many, I'm sure. So we can get that on there. And once I think I drilled holes. Yeah, I've got holes in the thing already, in the panel. So just need to get these on here and we can assemble it. Yeah, I guess you could drill it out. I mean, it does look fairly obvious that there's no electronics very close to the hole. There's obviously a lot of scrutiny that goes to designing Raspberry Pis. But at the same time, it's just odd that there isn't. That was all. There's obviously many other screws available, so it's not a problem. The YouTube stream, it was just rubbish. The audio was glitchy and not working. I restarted the stream and it was still glitchy and not working. So I'm guessing it is a YouTube side issue, because it seems to be absolutely fine on Twitch. So we're working with Twitch today. Blimey, we've got 41 people on Twitch. That's absolutely mental. Oh, does I'm not very good at getting. So the Streamlabs OBS. It says 47 in YouTube. I think that's what it was when I closed it, and it just doesn't update. I'm not used to working with Twitch yet, and the Streamlabs OBS thing has like a weird configurator for multi-streaming. It's not very obvious exactly what's going on, so that's why it's a bit weird. Stream manager, edit stream info. I think this is where I go. Change it part 2 to part 3. Done. Bada bing, bada boom. Does it now say part 3? Any reason you're not using standard OBS? I was using standard OBS. Streamlabs just has more features, which is kind of useful. I mean, to be honest, I don't remember why I stopped using the standard one. But Streamlabs OBS is working absolutely great. I'm pretty sure it's like, it is the same thing. So I'm going to say something totally wrong here probably. But isn't Streamlabs, OBS is open source and it's all on GitHub, and I'm pretty sure Streamlabs OBS is just like an enhanced version of the open source OBS. That was my understanding. I might be wrong. That was my understanding. So this we can just mount on the back here. Oh, this is really, my camera's really high up and it's all quite wobbly. So I'm trying not to balls it up. Let's get the lubricant out of the way. It's a bit quieter in here today. I've not got the Voron printing. It's been working basically non-stop over the last few days, so it's having a little break. So we've got this point just here. So I planned it earlier. If I put that here, I should be able to get this Ethernet cable over the top, all the way down the middle to here, or even over the back. And then we've got the USB-C from the top, hopefully going down there to, oh no, wait. What am I doing? I've confused myself. I mean, it's easy to switch around. Which way do I want it? I think this way was the good way. I mean, USB-C, this middle part's going to get very full of wires. Maybe we'll still do, so USB-C is going to be the data side. So data side is going to come over here, and the power is going to come from here, obviously, via, that's the USB-C, yes. So USB-C is power, and then the USB-A to this USB-C is the data. So this one coming to here, this one coming to here, and this one coming to here. No, I keep getting it wrong. I'm just going to flip and do it. Why is it so much more difficult to describe what I'm doing than to actually just do it? Do it. It is quite bloated, but it seems to be okay. I mean, I don't really have much preference, to be honest. It's just, I obviously stopped using OBS at some point for a reason. I've just forgotten what that reason is. Okay, so the main point of today was actually do Ever and not electronics. So we got the Pi in. That's a tick in the box. Let's get on with Ever. Because Ever and Hot End is where it's at. If I had someone managing my stream setup, I'm guessing they would probably be more comfortable with OBS. But Streamlabs, all this like fancy overlay stuff was literally a few clicks to do. And I wouldn't have bothered if that was all in OBS because it's very manual. Okay. So, this is the carriage. This is where Ever is going to be going. This is where she lives. We are going to be doing all ABS parts. Some of the parts were printed on the V-Core 3, some were printed on the Prusa Mark 3. With some and some. Why is my water bottle leaking all over the place? So yes, you can print ABS. I mean, this is ABS Plus. It's a little bit easier to print than ABS. Not quite as temperature resistant, but still really rather good. So we've got a bunch of parts in the red and black. I think they look absolutely lush. And I think when they all come together, it's going to look even better. So to do this, I actually do want to check some instruction manual really, because I'm not sure exactly what screw lengths and stuff to use for this, so it's just going to be a bit easier than just guessing it the whole time. Obviously my instructions will be different because my parts are different, like that's just how it is, but my modifications are not too major, so it shouldn't be confusing. Huh! What a nice, oh, we got a weird missing camera angle. Okay, that's fine. So hopefully you can all see that okay. Okay. So, most of the parts, oh, where's my, we have to disassemble, I think, some of the old parts. I think we might have to do that first. Hopefully not going to need that. So, this is old fan. That's old fan. We've got a different duct as well, so that can go. Do you know what the grub screws on the Z-axis lead screw is for? It's for anti-backlash, so you mean like these ones on here? Right next to the lead screw. So if you, as you tighten the grub screw in, obviously that lever opens and it pushes then against the two, like the upper of the thread and the lower of the thread. And then you tighten it obviously to that, and that stops any backlash in both directions. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. The downside is it adds quite a lot of friction to the system. So from my perspective, jury's out on whether it's better. But obviously you can just loosen them and like this, the same as not having them. So there's no problem having them there. You can sort of disable that part of it if you don't want it. Oops, there's it. Yeah, you don't want them tight. You definitely don't want them tight. You want them kind of just to the point where it stops any unwanted vertical motion. Like just. Which doesn't take very much, to be honest. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I mean, this is why the jury's out on whether it's better, because you will add friction pretty much regardless, and your bed weight is all down anyway. There's no fast acceleration in the other direction that could cause an issue, so probably nothing to worry about. Got a new one of those. New ones of those, they can all go. That can go. This is what we need first. So we've got the little switch. Back to instructions. Oh, it'd be nice maybe to have the old part out so I can compare. No, can't find it. So I made on this part some of the holes a little bit slacker, so it's just a little bit easier to assemble. And I've added some these rectangular holes up the side, and these should work, hopefully, as a place to put the Molex SL terminals for the hot end to just help organise it a little bit better and stop them moving around. I've cut the whole top bit off because it wasn't being used, so for me, didn't need it. I think that's mainly it. Oh, I've also added on the side some little zip tie holes there, so that just helps with that. Those are those rectangular holes, which are for the Molex SL, and all the slots are just a little bit wider to give me a little bit extra room. I think that's the main differences. So, hopefully the print quality is all okay and everything's just going to go together super easily. And I can't get the first nut in. Doesn't bode well, does it? Oh, come on camera. Why are you stuck? So once the mods on this are done, it's going to be comparison time. I'm hoping to get a sponsor for all of that because it's going to be a hell of a lot of work if I'm going to do it any justice, which I think is going to be valuable to do. So hopefully, so I'm trying to find a sponsor that's obviously not. Why is this not going to focus properly? Find a sponsor that's obviously not got any like invested interest in the success of the printer directly. It's a bit difficult with sponsorship in the UK because as soon as you get anything for nothing, you have to say it's sponsored, regardless of whether you're paid or anything, or whether you even asked for it or expected it. You have to say it's sponsored, which is just bizarre and a daft rule. But that's why a lot of my videos say sponsored. Anyway, yes. Forgot what I was going with that. Nuts. There should be a nut in the bottom according to this, but there doesn't seem to be. Oh, that's just for this, isn't it? There's a little track thing that holds the... Oh, please say I printed one. I think I might have forgotten. I think it might be the only part that I haven't modified, and as a result, I've not printed one in ABS. Oh no, I've got it! We're here. Also, I don't have to say everything's an ad, because ad is still classified quite differently to sponsorship. This is a weird discussion, probably not super relevant. M3x6. That's M3x8. Oh, this is tiny. This looks like M3x6. Boom. So we need to put this on here. This way, this way. Hopefully this threads onto his okay. Yeah, filament companies is what I'm reaching out for at the moment. I don't know who's available really for sponsorship or is interested in sponsoring. That's the difficult thing. Need a business manager to do the business part of the YouTube channel. That would be amazing. I think the team that Joel's got is just like the perfect setup. So you have your like host, which is Joel. You have your editor and videographer, and you have your business manager that does all the businessy stuff. Have I just assembled this blooming thing upside down? No. Why does it look weird? Feels weird. M3x8. Is that this one? I've lost my mental ability to see the length of a screw and know what size it is. More followers. So many new followers today. So, yep, that one's okay. I think then we pretty much mount it straight on the carriage, so there's not much more. It's annoying, that white text, isn't it? I can't actually see it. It's just lots of Twitch followers, so thank you everyone. I don't know how many followers is a good number of followers, but it seems like it's going well. Yeah, it does need a drop shadow. If I knew how to do that, then maybe I would. I know how to do it in like editing software and stuff, but not to get it on a stream. It's all just a different world. So this should go on here, and then that's goes into here, to here. So 4 M3x10 screws now. That's 12, 12, 10. This is not right. I think I've mounted this on the wrong way, haven't I? I've got the first step, I've already balls it up by not concentrating. I wondered why it looked a bit funny. That's better. Yeah, I think so. They've had problems pretty much since the beginning. They've been on the back foot the whole time. They've not been very good at disclosing it, which is, I mean, at the end of the day, disclosing it doesn't make the order come any faster, obviously. So it's not going to speed up your order, but it does help with just understanding what is going on. And I do completely understand like levels of frustration about stuff not being shipped when you thought it was or should have been or whatever. So I do sympathise. It is frustrating. There's so many new followers. Thank you, everyone. It's so good. It's super satisfying. Bit of a nice ego boost. Thank you. Oh dear. So belts. Slide the belts through in the back of the X gantry into the tension blocks. Repeat for 2 blocks. Where are these blocks? Where do I put them? 1 block, 2 block. Hopefully going to fit the belts. That would be important. Ooh, these are not very good prints. Please fit, please fit, please fit. No, come on. Yeah, the print quality is just a bit shit. This is a problem. I was printing all these ABS parts without any enclosure, so they just got a bit warpy. I think these were some of the worst end, unfortunately. I think I might have to go with the PETG ones for now, because those are not up to par. We'll have to, I'll take a note. What I could do, I guess, is get the Voron heated up and just print 2 things on there. It's not sure how successful it will be just printing 2 things. But it's already on. We've got some black filament in, so we can give it a go. I don't think you can really do sensorless very reliably on CoreXY. Mitsuma's contradicting me there, but yeah, because obviously they're not independent, so it gets a bit odd. For me, this sensorless is less accurate than a physical switch, and unless it's providing like a real tangible benefit, then it just feels a little bit unnecessary. Like, don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool, and this is confusing me. I don't have a problem with it as such. Obviously it's on the Prusa Mark III and it works fine there. Sensorless hemming for XY doesn't ever need to be that precise, so should be fine, but so I'm going to have to do some slicing in a minute as well. Less wiring. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely less, but it's kind of barely less, isn't it? So we got this new carriage part. I made a lot of like tiny little changes, like so. I'll see if I can recall them as I go. So here I added a little cutout for the fan. I found the original one clashed a little bit. I made this mount on the side kind of thicker, wider, made it a bit easier to print in ABS. I slightly changed these holes at the bottom. I think I just added this chamfer in and made them a little bit larger. Kind of universally, I've made the 3mm holes up to I think 3.4, 3.5, just to make assembly a little bit easier. Change the holes so the nut inserts, the inserted nuts get this kind of feature that means you don't have to push out any material. I don't think I changed the logo, but I think I put the Ever logo on it because I think it just said V-Core 3 or something, and it just didn't look as tidy, whereas this looks really neat. I think I added very little chamfers to the corners, helped a little bit with printing in ABS. Oh, that's why I did this as well. I think because there was not very much material down here, this end did stick very well. So again, just little changes for helping with ABS. I think I modified some of the geometry around these nut holes as well, to try and make that insertion a little bit easier. I think that's mostly it. Let's add some nuts. Oh, wrong side. The original part actually has a small Ever logo and Core XY on the back there. Yeah, that's what, yeah, so, yeah, because it said, I think I took off the text and just enlarged the logo. Obviously, it's very useful from a design point of view to have that so you know, because I think there's a number of different backs, isn't there, for different setups, so it's useful to know which one you've got. I don't deny that being a good idea. I just think it didn't look quite as tidy, and this, I think, looks really neat, just having the Ever logo, which is a really smart logo. So. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I guess because I was going to be showing them on stream. But it just looks nicer. Where else are we putting nuts? Ah, right up in here. So I think I've elongated this face as well. So could add in a nylock here if I wanted to. Again, the main reason was just to give some extra material for printing in ABS, because I was printing it open. It really helped. And this screw is not going to be ideal for getting this in. Even though I've tried to optimize these parts, it's still quite difficult to assemble neatly. print neatly, I mean. No, I mean with a enclosed with an enclosed printer, it makes an enormous difference. But when you haven't got one, it's just not that easy. Okay. Oh, there's some more nuts here, I've noticed. I mean, that's the perfect fit. They should just press in with fingers, but especially when the access is not easy, can't always do it. I think you really only need to upgrade the fan if you're going with like speedboat style. Doing a lot of things standing up today because thought I was going to be doing a lot of stuff like up on top of the printer, but it feels like I'm doing more of the sitting stuff. Oh well, I'll just stand all day. All day, it's not all day. Stop exaggerating, he said, talking to himself. Not noticing any questions, so I'll just carry on yabbering. Printer's nearly up to temperature, up to 108 on the bed, 109 on the bed. Let's do some slicering. So if we do second screen now, there we go. So we've got all this, this is all the stuff that I printed earlier. So you've got these parts, which are the Wago clips, this part from the middle, which is the Raspberry Pi bracket, and then all the little cable clips I've pre-printed too. New follower, Sepaladak. Welcome in. So let's just burn off all that lot. I just realised I don't have. I need to actually get the files before I try and print them. So I've got to go find those. Not sure how well little parts are going to print, but we'll see. Printed parts, STL. Oh, I'm not looking for V-Core 3, am I? I'm looking for Ever. Cable holder, that looks like the part. That is not the part. Cable holder, what? No, I'm looking for belt holder, not a cable holder. Belt grabber. I don't think it's belt grabber. No. Tension idler. Yes, that's the one. So this is what we're going to print. Obviously not in that orientation. That orientation. So we need at least 2, but I'm a little bit concerned about cooling with 2. It's just going to end up a bit of a mushy mess, I think. 20 minutes for 2. $40 minutes for 4. Basically solid. Well, let's give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Could find that the cooling settings are not ideal. We'll see. Layer time's quite low, so I think it will have slowed down. Spread them apart. The profile I have is not very fast. Where's speed? I always forget here. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can. So 120, 140 for perimeter and infill. External perimeters are only 40, like really slow. So it's not super fast, but they do look super good. It is nice to hit upload. I mean, that was the same for V-Core 3 with the Duet board though, Duet Web Control. That was an upload process. For the external is slow, isn't it? I've not really looked in detail at this profile. Nero 3D. Some weird resonance has happened then. Nero 3D gave me the profile forwarded from someone else, one of the printed forward users. So yeah, that's the one. Doc. So it looks really, really tidy, and there's nice like chonk infill. So I do need to tune it a little bit. I think for my specific setup here, it could be changed, improved a tiny bit, but it's fractional, like largely irrelevant. I need a quick drink. That big black piece of material over there is the material I used for the Voron enclosure. But I've obviously got quite a lot left. So there could be potential to use it for another printer. Perhaps. It's not aluminium composite, no, it's the super cheap fluted plastic polypropylene stuff. It's the cheapest plastic material money can buy, pretty much. But works reasonably well. The one thing I have noticed is it tends to, because it's fluted and it's got like long holes all the way through, it insulates really well. It seems to insulate quite well. The downside is the inside surface gets really warm, whereas the outside surface stays cool. So you get a lot of warping. So that inside surface kind of expands, which ends up with all the panels kind of bend inwards and the bottom bends up where it can. Like, it's a bit weird, but it's fine. So what were we doing? Instructions. Here we go. Screws and nuts and screws and nuts. I mean, it's going to be 40 minutes before I'm going to swap these out, so we'll carry on with what we got at the moment. What can you see up here? Need another M5 nylock for this. Shove that in there. Just feel weird doing things knowing I'm going to replace it as soon as possible, but there you go. This is going to look so freaking sweet. Is that zoomed in? Yeah, it is. So that goes in there, that goes in there, that goes in there. Now we need the universal front, which is again just a whole load of blooming nuts. So I made some changes actually here. Potentially controversial changes. Oh, I have printed them. I got red ones. Oh, they also look a bit terrible. These, the blocks that I've just started printing, I just found some red ones. I'm not sure. They look a bit... There's all like plastic in where the teeth is supposed to be, so those are not great either. Not had much success. I don't know why I accepted them. Oh, would have been funny to have a green Voron. Oh. Funny you should say that. So, so down here, let's carry on doing this. Putting loads of nuts into the back of the ever panels. Pieces, parts. I'm all fingers and thumbs. Push a V-Core 3. If the Prusa XL isn't released soon, it's going to end up out of date before it's even released. Assuming that they're not, I mean, I don't know. Obviously that's a broad assumption on what state the printer's in, but I mean, as far as I know, like they were kind of looking to release it ages ago, but couldn't. So if they've not completely changed it in the last year and a half or whatever, it's going to be weird. Yeah, I thought they would be. I don't know if anyone has like firm information to confirm that. It would definitely be sensible to, because my goodness, it would be out of date otherwise. I think it's not going to be as expensive as you suspect. It sounds like you think it's going to be very expensive, but they're becoming very vertically integrated, so that gives them some massive cost reductions, which the likes of RatRig and, I mean, one-off Voron purchases just don't have, so I would expect it to be cheaper than both. by a fair margin. Well, like a reasonable margin, not ridiculous margin. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've changed this bottom part. So originally, this part, so originally there's a nut on the back of here, and that holds this part, which is like a clamp for the V6. But it's very thin and doesn't really hold too much. And then there's no like fixing of this part to the rest of anything else. So what I've done is basically remove the nut trap from the back of here and move it back into the part which this screws to. So your nut goes in the base here, and then you hold, that's just another way to hold that to that, if I'm doing it up the right way. So should be an improvement. It'll be different if nothing else. Thank you for the new follow. SL1S does seem expensive, I'll give you that one. Yep. Have I removed some holes from the side of this? Have I made a bit of a balls up there? Hopefully not. Nope. I also took out the zip tie holes because they seemed redundant in that part. I don't think I ever used them. They're too close to the rail. You'll probably be able to one-hand tighten for a while, and then over a long period of time it might slip a bit, and then you'll be really annoyed and melt some stuff. So we need these clamps, M3x8 screws. That's 10. That's 8. 2, 3, 4. And then we need M3x35s to go all the way through. That's 1, that's 2. Right, onto the printer. So first things first, I'm going to use these little I'm going to forget where I put stuff. No. So this goes this. I also added this like square part here, and it helps alignment to make sure you get the nozzle at the right height each time you change your hot end or something, or each time you have to disassemble it. full. And then we bring these two together, mate this to the rest of that with some long screws. Now tell me that's not the freaking coolest ever colours you've ever seen. Ever. That looks freaking sick. Damn. Red and black, 100% the way to go. Looks like I ended up not using that little square recess that I just talked about. It looks like the parts that I printed actually don't have that on. So maybe I decided that was not a good idea and took it off. Certainly seems to be the case. Just hang on a minute. Where's my... I need my big doobly for getting this one out. What about this one? Got to completely redesign one of these too. Bosch. So a few less cutouts, a little bit fractionally easier to print, and a place for filament support. And I've just lost the nut in those 30 seconds. How the hell did I manage that? Oh, it's done here, okay. Probably would have been better in red, but I didn't have any red left. I only printed this today. Today? Yes. Oh, that's just snapped. Okay, why is that snapped? That's not good, is it? It holds, but it's not good. I think I printed it a little bit too cold, and the way you have to print that part because of its design is not ideal for strength. So yeah, that's broken, but it's actually still holding, so we'll accept it for now. Next part of the instructions. Have I got the instructions taking up too much of the screen? I don't know, it's difficult to say. I feel like we could do with less instructions and more. There you go, super unprofessional editing while working. Maybe we have this one smaller. That's probably a better view, right? Just realised I don't think I shared. I think I forgot to share stuff in the Discord again, the RatRig Discord. Oh, it's too late now. I've been printing loads of ABS Plus and barely any actual ABS. I do like how elastic it is though. What's the next part of assembly? So we did that. Done those into there and that under there. That's all good. Now we've got this part underneath. Bibbidi bobbidi, bibbidi bobbidi, bibbidi bobbidi boom. Okay, M3 by 12s, M3 by 35. That's 30. By 35, and we need that part that you just mentioned a minute ago. It's over here. So 3 by 35 should go all the way through here into the nuts in the back. Doesn't seem to quite be aligned, but we should get there. The alignment seems to be miles off, but it's fine. We'll just loosen up these screws, I think. I think I've just tightened it all a little bit squiff. I can't hear any music. Has the music stopped? I've turned it up a bit for me and for you. Hopefully it's not too much. What the hell is that lyrics? Because I haven't paid for the full package of this music stuff, it's kind of... I'm not allowed to... well, I can't move, like skip tracks and things. Slight downside. I think this is one I just printed today. This is not great. Ooh. The cooling on Voron is definitely something that can be improved. I know we're talking about RatRig now, but it's on this profile anyway. The bridging is just a bit naff, I guess is the best way to put it. I think this part would have been better in black, but it doesn't matter. at least we've got a part. I've lost track of what I'm doing. I may or may not have had a little glass of something earlier. I think it's impeded my ability to keep track of what I'm working on. M3 by 12 screws for the duct. So I've got a different duct to the one I started with. This is supposedly, at the time I was recommended it over the standard one. That was a little while ago, but hopefully the recommendation still applies. Looking sick. Have you tried the 5015 tool head for the oscillator? I haven't. I haven't tried anything special on the Voron yet other than the original stuff. Duct screws, excellent. Right, this is for V6, so I'm going to improv this a little bit, I think. So we need our hot end. Which is this badass hot end here. So it's going to go in here, and we have to deal with this filament, unfortunately, which is not easy, but hopefully possible. I just hope these cables are going to be long enough, because they're not as easy to extend. So we're going out this side, aren't we? Into here. Ooh, we do need to do some work on this. Down here, please. There we go. Ah, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, this is going to be interesting. I'll have to take the old blooming thing apart. I can't get those screws out. And I can't get that in there either. There we go. Dragon hot end, it's even labelled Dragon hot end. It's weird that it's blue, but it might look quite cool once it's in there. So, deal with it. Gonna have to find some screws for this. Yeah, because I didn't get any screws with my hot end, so I'm hoping I have some M2 screws that I can use for this somewhere. Has passed me being smart enough to put some in this neat, tidy little box of parts that I have. No, past me must have been having a lazy day. I don't think. There's others here. No, so I need to find some. No. And 3 by 10, and 3 by 20, and 3 by 35, and 3 by... Oh, I thought it was M2s. There's no M2s on the... I'm guessing it's implied that it's included with it. Well, that's more difficult. I'm back in a minute. I'm just going to have a look around to find some M2 screws. M2 by 10 and M2 by 8. That was quicker than I was expecting. I don't think I have others anywhere else, so I'll have to open these boxes of them. Where's this? Could sort of use those, but... They aren't M2? Really? Oh, M2.5. Well, that's going to be a big ask, that is. M2.5 by 8. Oh dear. I don't know why I've bought so many M2 screws. I don't think I've ever used M2 screws. I had some for the Voron, so hopefully I can find them somewhere. These look like M2. It's weird because I thought I tested this. Yeah, those are M2, so that's not going to work. Those look even smaller. Those also not going to work. Yeah, unfortunately mine was just like handed to me at a trade show, and it was just like stuffed in my bag and that was it. So I didn't really, I didn't get anything with it. As I said, I think I've got some spare from the Voron build, but I don't know. Oh, I think I've left them in a bag over here. There's some other leftover Voron bits. Let's have a look. Oh no, I think I put them in the hot ends box. M2.5 is a weird size. I 100% agree with that. M3 would, like, there's so many M3 screws used in 3D printing, especially for hot end assembly, like all the extruder assembly and stuff. It's always M3. It would be nice to just use the same. No, I don't think we're going to be lucky here because this is the bag, but I don't see. M2.5, they're all the 5mm screws for screwing on the top bit. Oh, rats and a half. I thought I'd check this because I was concerned about the length that I needed. I'm kind of confused that I don't have them because I know I've thought about it previously. I'm guessing I've put it somewhere smart so I don't lose it. And it was so smart that I've lost it. I've outsmarted myself. Embarrassingly. M4, M6. Oh dear, boys and girls, what are we going to do? Yeah, it's weird. I can't, because I had the screws and I put them in here to test that they were. I think this will sort of work, maybe. Or this. I think I've got some aluminium stuck in my hand. I keep feeling it when I put my hand on the desk. Well, that'll do. We'll just use those ones. Let's get some more of those. These are the M2.5 by 5, which hold the top part in. It's a good time for some dramatic music. I'm guessing the mosquito ones are exactly the same hole pattern. Nailed it! I put it on the wrong way round, you absolute... Haven't I? Yes. After all that, there you go. So those holes that I put in on the side, you can see how they're going to be useful now for the thermistor and heater wires that come up literally straight past that area. So hopefully they'll cable tidy there when we get to doing that in a minute. So we also need this lower bracket now. Oh, we've got 2 in red and 2 in black. I don't know why I printed quite so many of them. Let's have a closer inspection. So these are different as well. I've modified these. So one of the downsides was with the original design. This music's talking over me now. One of the issues with the original design was that you could push the nuts out the back as you push the screw in, because they were... I'll get it to focus on my hand and then pull here. You can see how the nuts are open all the way to the back. So as you push the screw in from the side where my hand is, you can accidentally push them out the back. Now, I think I only did it once, but it is kind of annoying, so good if it doesn't happen. So I think then what I did next was this. New follow, Lancer, welcome. So here you can see I've just converted it to some slots. So you can put a nut in quite easily, but it won't push straight out the back because it pushes in from a different angle. And then I've changed it again, I think this is going to be the last one I did. Hand first and then part. So it's the same slot but just deeper, so this should be able to fit a nylock nut, I think was why I did this. So hopefully we can get some nylock nuts in here. That'll help hold the hot end all together nicely. So hopefully we can get some nylock nuts in this part. That's one. Oh no, there is another one in here. I think I'm going to need to get some other nylocks at some point because these were not for this previously. Oh, that's gone in surprisingly easily. There we go, that's that. So we don't actually need all of these other parts. Unfortunately we won't get to use the red one, but there you go, shit happens. And that will end up going on the back of there as we mount this into the printer. I've forgotten which way up it goes. I think it is this way, isn't it? Yeah, the lip points down, that's fine. So that mounts into the printer first anyway, really. So this is where mine's going to differ slightly, because my part here screws into the part behind, which is deeper, so a different screw is needed. Maybe this. Or it might actually, the same length screw might actually work. Let's try the same length screw. We might have got lucky. Past me might have considered this. No promises though. Let's have a look. So this comes up here and here, and we're in. It's maybe a bit tight, but it's okay. This looks so good. I just love the red and black colour. So M2 by 10 and then M3 by 25 to secure it into the rest of the printer. I think Voron's just finished. Yeah, so we got some of those blocks in ABS. Hopefully they're going to fit a little bit better. So I think this one goes... Have I missed some... I need to put nuts in this part before we start assembling it. There's 2 nuts in the back of here. So these ones maybe used to be nylox. We might get nylox. Ooh, cables are all in the way. Okay. Oh, please don't cut out. This problem with this webcam. It's only a USB-C cable and it's not very long and it's just dangling across the room. The whole weight of the cable is just supported by the connector. Bit dodgy. I'm down at the desk. We'll go with nylock if we can, I think, here. Slice have actually not put anything on hold, but there you go. You can get them on 3D Jake, I think, and 3D Prima, I think, sell them as well. Quite a few places. These nuts here probably could have done with the insert from the side trick, because those I think are going to push out now, but we'll see how we go. Oh, we might have to stick with PETG ones. I think the input shaper might have smoothed out some of the teeth in the belt holders. Slightly unfortunate. I feel like I should actually buy a dragon hot end at some point rather than just have the two that I already have. I suppose if I keep using them, I'm going to need to get more. Instructions. So I think that's that lot in. Attach that. Attache that. Those are attached. Ah, we need to work this out. How long does the tube need to be? Anybody with prior information on tube length? I do not know the tube length that I'm needing. I'll leave that with that. Where's the PTFE tube box? $47mm, thank you everyone, very nice. Guys are so useful to have around. Oh, the tube lengths are listed. So was I like, they are listed in the AVA under extruder. Oh, under drives, I guess. BMG. Oh, probably in the bottom, right? PTP 65, that says. Oh, but that's for. Oh, here we go. Dragon 47. There you go. So I've got this weird adapter on mine as well. So it's probably it's not going to be 47, is it? It's because I've got this weird thing. Normally this goes all the way up in here, doesn't it? With the BMGM. Because there's no way that that is that far away. No. That's a negative on that, sir. And this blooming filament sticking out the top is going to make my life blooming difficult as well. I could cut it off in the tube, but I think that's going to make it difficult to push out. For some reason I think that. May or may not be true. So this is the old harness here. The old V6 was in here. It only needs to come up a few millimeters from there. I have literally no idea what length I need this. And at risk of having some major problems, I think I'm also going to cut this filament because it's going to be a problem if I'm trying to assemble with that stuck in there. I'm just going to hope that I can push it through afterwards. Right, that would be possible. We cut it off here, cut the filament off here. We should be able to just put new filament in the top and it will just jam this all the way through. It might work. Pray for me. Right, now we've got that out of the way, does this give a better indication? It's literally a few millimeters above that, isn't it? Ooh, that didn't work. Put the knife away. Where is it? There we go. Have I just got it perfect on the first try? What are the chances? Nailed it! But how do you know she's a witch? It's not very straight. Let's straighten it up. Oh, this is really squiff. Uh, 27 millimeters. $27 millimeter. That's the instructions I was following. Here we go. Assemble extruder. Bosh, bosh, bosh. But this part should be quick because I've already got this all pre-configured. All the hole spacing and everything should just be like exactement the same. Absolute dynamite. hot end fan. So I'm different fanning, and I've got a duct too. So I made this cool little duct. Well, originally it looks a bit like this, like so. Focus on my hand, please. It looks really yellow in that shot, but so what I've done is added a little bit of height and a little letterbox on the front, and that will house the ADXL sensor. I don't know why it doesn't want to focus. So that will house that ADXL, hopefully. And while I mean, you don't need to keep it on there, so I'll probably end up taking it off. But I did that for reasons. Also got Noctua fan to put on. I've lost my ADXL. There it is. So need to be slightly careful here. First, let's remove this connector from the end. Now the ADXL is M3. I should have already got appropriate screwage for that. So that should fit in there, like that. There you go. So that just fits in, and then the pins stick out the front. It just helps having it that way round, because then X is X, Y is Y, Z is Z, rather than having to like translate anything and potentially making a mistake. That's worked out rather well. If I can actually show you by putting it on the screen, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Pretty neat and tidy. And then we've got the Noctua to fit on the top here, hopefully. Bit of a tight squeeze. Unfortunately, it doesn't match our colour scheme, but that's Noctua for you, isn't it? Why do everything I do feels like I need to move the camera? Now it looks too... It does like focusing on my arm, that's for sure. So this cable, we got to deal with the covers. Oh, yeah, the layer adhesion on this ABS Plus doesn't seem to be very good. I've just snapped the wings off. There you go, we'll take all the wings off. And then at least it's consistent. I'm not going to worry about the wiring at the moment for the fan. We'll deal with that later. We've got something started here. So 2 M325s and 2 M320s. I'm not sure I've got a new BL Touch mount, you know. I think I might have forgotten that. That's 30. No, don't want 30s. 25. 25. 25. How are we missing a screw? That's a little bit weird. I think I needed 30 for some of these anyway, actually. I think it might have been 2 30s and 2 25s. Maybe they've not updated the instructions, I can't remember. So it was longer ones at the bottom. Well, let's try with the shorter ones first, see if we can get this on. No. Short ones don't work at the bottom, so do the short ones work at the top? Yes. But this is where you need the captive nuts. Right, apologies for the weird singing, that was unnecessary. That goes over there, that's looking pretty neat and tidy. I think I forgot some internal nut traps on that part there for the BL Touch, but I don't think I printed a mount for it anyway, so we'll have to correct that. Where can I get that version of the faceplate with the acceleration cut out? Yeah, I haven't done it. I'm not very good at sharing my files, I do apologise. Pretty sure I have 40mm fans, don't they, that are Noctuas, and they're black. But I couldn't get hold of any black Noctuas. Either that or they were twice the price and I decided it wasn't worth it. Either of those could be possible. Is that it? Have we evoed? No, we haven't. So we've got this back part to do for the cable management. Now I made some changes here, he says, as if it's new. So this part, I think this is one of the things I mentioned in the original live stream. It had no way to really support the cable bundle between the hot end / extruder and the enclosure at the back. So this hole at the top allows you to push in some filament, 2.85mm nylon ideally, and that should hold in place, and it just basically gives the whole thing a little bit more structure. So we should be able to screw this on fairly easily. Attach 2 M3 heck nuts and 3 M3x12 screws. I don't have 3 M3. Where's all these screws gone? Screws have just disappeared. That's 8. That's 10. That's 12. I've got a 3, a 10 and a 12, and that's not what I need at all. Great. One, I need a 10, another 12, 2 12s. Oh, then they might not be black. That's going to be disappointing. What about over here? 3x10. I don't think I have M3x12 there. I'm still here, I'm just not there. I'll be back on screen in just a minute. That should be M3x12. Unfortunately not black, but it's round the back, so hopefully not going to matter. So what do we want? 3 12s. It's weird because I even took these out at the beginning of this episode. They just seem to have disappeared in the meantime. We can actually put this in first, can't we? Let's get that on here. Can't see. Huh? Yes, don't use these Noctuas on a V6. I mean, Prusa do, but they've got they've obviously designed it specifically for it. But V6 requires a fair amount of airflow, to stay cool. Whereas the Dragon doesn't, so should be fine. I don't understand why it looks so orange. Is it just because I'm viewing it on a screen where the colours are all just not accurate? Yes, okay. It's the screen. It's fine. I think there's too much noise. Kids should not own a... Well, I'm doing this because I want less noise. I think it's important to have not too much noise. For your own sanity, if nothing else. And ability to print at night in a small apartment, whilst also being able to sleep. You don't need to sacrifice anything if you do it fine. Like, it depends what you're after. If you need or want the highest performance possible, then you go for it. But if I feel like I don't, and I'd rather have quieter, like, that's what's best for me. There is no better, it's just what is preferable for you. Well, better performance, but like the performance noise balance is personal. You can't just say, oh, well, you can say what you like, but it seems mildly inapplicable to just go, oh yeah, should just be, make it noisy and make it fast. Don't really need it any faster. Just want to be able to print overnight. Anyway, looks good with red and black, doesn't it? It's absolutely banging. It's a shame the Noctua is brown, eh? Couldn't get a sun-on. Well, I didn't find a suitably priced sun-on fan for that. The other fan is sun-on. So, 12 volt sun-on 5015. Looks like maybe the holes are in a different place. No? I think the geometry must be slightly different. No, that's the place. That's not long enough. Yeah, so when I did some of the wiring yesterday on the Octopus, I set the jumpers there, 2 of them, to 12 volts, I think. I don't think there's anything actually on the board, maybe on the back, that tells you which is which, but I'm pretty sure they're all set to system voltage by default, and then the middle one is 12 volts, and then the bottom one is 5. Cable management tips. Tension the belts, yeah. So let's have a look, see what the oven's got for us. Get my oven gloves on and get in the oven and check these parts. I think the teeth are a bit too smoothed out, so I might need to turn off input shaping on something to print them. Shouldn't have touched that oil bottle. It's hot in here still after all that time. smells funky as well. Always does. Where's my tweezers? So this is what these look like. There's definitely some tooth pattern there. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Should have a bit of spare belt, yeah, in this box. So it needs to not only go in, but hold the belt. Oh, my days. It's basically perfect. Well, blow me over. Oh, might be a bit loose then, because that's just come out sort of sideways. We'll give them a go. It's definitely worth giving a go, if not perfect. You need to set your case fan to run until the chamber is lower than your Pi's temperature. It doesn't really matter. I mean, so at the moment my bottom fans will run until it gets down to 45, so they're still running now. So, and the bottom of my case is not actually fully enclosed anyway. That's not the right size. It's also not the right size. Yeah, I think we'll be good. We'll just give it a try and see what we go. Yeah, I mean, these come out quite easily anyway, so, and they were fine. Do need to make sure we get the nuts out of these though. Hopefully those go into my ABS parts nicely as well. Slight splitting. Yeah, this might need to get some real ABS, or just, I think maybe increase temperature for layer adhesion. What profile did I use? Settings. I did use my ABS Plus. Should be 250. That's flipping bacon hot. Maybe it's printing quite cold relative to the readout. Yeah, it's splitting quite a bit. These ABS Plus, we had some really good results with them. They have been doing really well. I wonder if, because I've been printing, so before I printed like a really full bed of stuff, and obviously that gives you much longer layer time, which means there's no fan. And I wonder if there's auto cooling that's coming on and cooling these parts too quick, which is what's causing this brittle layer adhesion issue. Anyway, let's get some belts tucked in, see if we can get it on. There you go, fan's gone off now. It's got down to 45. I'm guessing it's the graph is going to be way gone now. Yeah, you can't scroll back in time. Maybe it was not quite 250 or something. Given it's a profile from Print It Forward, it kind of makes sense that you wouldn't notice issues with low layer time because you're going to be filling the bed constantly. I can't do the BL touch arm. I haven't got one printed out. I'm not going to start that today. I'm basically going to finish here. I think we're pretty much there for this, for the mechanical parts of Ever. So I'll probably do some of the wiring off stream, and we'll do the firmware and a first print tomorrow. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? It's a lot to do. A lot. It just takes time, doesn't it? It takes a long time when doing things on the stream. Because I'm dancing and singing and not concentrating. So tension, attach the bed probe, and that's the end. So I need to make myself a bed probe because I doth not print one. I'm going to do some temperature test as well, actually. Temperature testing with ABS Plus to see where we can, because I think if we can find an ideal temperature, we'll get much better results. I mean, that's not exactly news to anyone, is it? So this is some nylon. Hopefully this is going to fit in these holes I've made. Just put that as far as it can go, and then we'll cut it somewhere. This is literally the only time I've used 3mm filament. I've had this bag for a long time. Nylon might be a bit not great now, don't know. Can't remember if nylon's hygroscopic or not. Never really printed with it, so. That's pretty secure. So, not ideal maybe. The angle's a bit off, but. I think if we cut the end down a bit, we might be able to. Doesn't come quite down as far in that hole as I want it to. I might see if I have a drill that I can use to improve it. It is hygroscopic. I wonder if it changes. Does it change mechanical properties before printing then? It probably has. Probably not as good now as it used to be. Never mind. Maybe something like 2.6 is the right size. Yeah, that's okay. I think it's enough to hold in place. Yeah, I'm not sure if it matters. That's why I've just gone with it anyway. I think it'll be okay. Probably should have greased all the rails and stuff while I had everything disassembled. That would have been a nice idea. Bit late now, isn't it? So we've got this whole harness we can start dealing with. So obviously going to still need pretty much all of it in pretty much exactly the same manner as it currently is. Not these heater wires, these need to come out. Shit. Excuse my French. Oh, I think it's not too bad. There's not much left in the box. Goodbye golden V6. It's almost time to put this on a like a frame on a mantle. It's a piece of relevant history, historical artifact. Ah, mother. The edge of this strip's really sharp. So all of these connectors are going to have to come off this end because these are all the old Duet ones. Well, they're not Duet connectors, they're just connectors that are used on the Duet board. Actually, I might leave until I'm wiring them. These are fine. The ones that aren't joined, I'll leave for now. And most of them are joined, actually. These two are joined. These two are joined. This one's joined. This lot joined. Right. Doesn't really work after that point. Goes a bit weird, doesn't it, that? But that's okay. Oh, we need to get the motor wire through. Well, these wires are 100% not long enough, so this could get challenging. Have to do some extension, shouldn't be a problem really. I was just hoping that I wouldn't have to, that's all. How have I managed that? It's now on the wrong side. Oh, how on earth does that happen? I guess just... I've confused myself. So now that I've added those extra zip tie locations, we should have some nice convenient places to hold these wires in just the perfect position. Oh, not that way around. Oh, the downside is you have to undo those ones to take the hot end off. Oh, but it comes with a hot end anyway, so bloody bolt to it. Can't get the bloody thing to come back out the top. Should still be clear of anything here. That might want to go that way a little bit. I mean, that connector doesn't look ideal in that position, but that's fan shroud hitting, okay. I think this was up here before. I need to make some adjustments. Maybe less of this cover. I think I changed this a little bit as well to, because before I think even when you had these tight it didn't quite grip, or was that one on the back? That might have been the back one, not this one. Just put another zip tie around here. Loving it. This is the, so I've just tried it there. This is what I put these like square holes on the side, it's not for this. I mean, although that's still quite a good cable management method actually, isn't it? It's worked quite well. So they're square because they're designed to fit these. Unfortunately because I've limited the cable length and I've just tucked that all in there, some of them are not going to work particularly well. But for example, this 3 connector one, you put the cable in there, and you just push the connector back through here, like so. And that's like pretty, I mean it's not rigidly mounted, but it's pretty secure there. So in theory, if I borrow something that was previously plugged into it, we can see if it works. So that goes in like that, and then you can just press the thing and take it out again. So in principle it's worked really well. In practice it may not be quite as good as I hoped, but time will tell, I guess. And that's going to home. Yeah, fine there. I think that's actually, if I get the cable lengths back through a little bit better, then I think that's going to work really, really well. But that puts us at about 3 hours now, so I'm going to see if I can get a couple more of these connectors to slide into this management bit. I think I need to call it a day. I'm starting to feel a little tired and I don't want to be doing wiring and stuff when I'm prone to making even more mistakes than normal. Yeah, not sure now I've put these on, I'm going to be able to get any extra through here. Yeah, maybe a little bit. So I've got a longer one down here for this. Should be. Yeah, that is banging. I don't know what I was planning to do with the rest of these connectors. I've got one extra here that needs a home but hasn't got one. I know that's for that fan, so that goes in there. Oh, isn't that good? That's freaking sweet. I don't know how well you can see it because it's quite far away, but I'm so proud of that. I'm going to even take the camera off the stand just to show you. Hopefully it doesn't all disconnect. Come. Yeah, pretty securely mounted. Could add a touch of glue if you wanted to be extra sure, or just like a blob of hot glue or something, but that presses in pretty nice, and then you can just jam your connectors in the side. So fan will go in one of them, back fan will go in one, two of these are BL Touch and end stop sensors here. Oh, that's pretty neat, isn't it? I'm just showing off now. Couldn't be happier with how that's turned out. Disgustingly tiny, isn't it? Isn't it just? That's exactly what it is. I don't think it will rattle because the way I want it to work, and it kind of is I mean, you can't really even push them out. They're not wobbly in there at all. They're pressed up right against the parts that are. Maybe it'll rattle. I don't think so. Time will tell. It's probably way more rattly things than that. Imagine if the connection was red. That's probably, of all the little modifications I made, that one's 100% my favourite. It's just kind of unexpectedly brilliant. Right. So that's going to be it from me today. It's been quite a long day. I did quite a lot of wiring beforehand as well, so I've probably spent 5 hours doing this today. Probably end up doing at least 5 tomorrow. Trying to do a print on it as well at the end. Ooh, we got a lot to do. I'm going to have a long day tomorrow. So if we're doing, well, I'll be doing lots of the wiring stuff probably off stream. As I said, it's generally not that interesting. So I should be able to get this from this point now. I think everything is assembled other than the BL Touch and maybe this duct, and for some reason this connector here. But yeah, everything's basically assembled mechanically. So the electrical wiring I'll probably do off stream to get to the point. I'll check it boots and all that kind of stuff. And then from there we should be ready to start the stream. We'll go straight into installing the V-CoreOS and should be straight into a print, some print. Oh, I'll have a look at, You might see some random streams starting tomorrow as I test what audio is going wrong. But I mean, today I don't think it was my issue or my problem. Well, I mean, it is my problem because there's probably people that wanted to watch on YouTube that couldn't. But what I mean is, it wasn't my fault. I couldn't have changed anything because, as you can see, the Twitch ones worked absolutely fine, which suggests to me that my setup on my end was fine, so like, what can I do about that? If YouTube is like detected the wrong settings on my stream that I've sent it or something, I don't understand what could have gone wrong, but it's gone wrong. I'll have a go, I'll have a check, but no promises. Yeah, BL touch mount. That's there. And files. At the moment, I've sent my files to Pavel to take a look at. My concern is because there's obviously lots of different configurations. I've not really accounted for those. I've just gone for my configuration, so there could be some elements of the design that I'm not aware of or I've removed because I thought they weren't important for my configuration, but they may well be for others. So I've sent it to him at the moment, and I don't know how long he'll take to look at them. There's quite a lot of changes in there, so could be a while, I don't know. We'll see how we get, how far we get with that. The time for tomorrow, hang on. The time for tomorrow will be the same as today, so 7:30 PM GMT, BST. It's weird how half the year we get to be GMT, the other half has to be BST. British summertime. It is ending soon though. Has it just... I thought it was 21st of October, which means we've just passed it and I've messed it up. Oh, it's the end of this weekend. So back 1 hour at 2 AM on the last Sunday of October. Oh, it's not till next weekend, 31st. Yeah. So we've got time. So yeah, we're still BST, streaming Twitch and YouTube from 7:30 PM BST, right here, right then. See you there. Hopefully this was great for everyone. Sorry about the audio issues for the YouTube people. As I said, hopefully I can give it a go and see if we can get it fixed. Right, good night, good day, good morning to whatever time zone you're in, and I shall see you tomorrow. New follower, right at the end. Boom, in there, right in the last few seconds. Good night, everyone. Ciao.